Now I'm going to start this off with showing you guys this mower because this is a Husqvarna that I bought and at a 48-inch deck. I can't remember the size of the engine, but they said it was their bottom of the line commercial mower. I think it was probably their top of the line homeowner's mower. I don't think at all that this thing was commercial. This was a big mistake. I think this mower cost me almost $4,000. Good price for starting off with something small, but I just don't think it was worth the money at all. I sold this thing pretty quick and got out from under it, but I wanted to start off by showing you this because I just keep getting asked so much lately, what do I recommend for a guy just starting off or a guy with just a few lawns? You know, and a lot of people are asking, should I get a walker right off the bat? My recommendation is no, do not get a walker right off the bat. You got to build up to where you have plenty of income coming in and to where you have a good amount of lawns that warrants a mower of that size. So that brings me to the Scag Freedom Z. Now, I loved this mower. This mower was fantastic. It cut great. It did not have that new velocity deck on it. It had the older style, squared off deck, flat nose in the front, but it was just an awesome mower. It cut great, it rode great, it was very comfortable, had plenty of power. I only had a 48-inch deck on it. The only reason I ended up getting rid of this mower is because it had a bagging system on the back with a tube that goes down the side, but it didn't have a blower like a turbine. I need something that could really bag, and that was when I was really starting to look into walkers. So I ended up trading this mower, trading it in at the dealer where I got my walker, where I buy all my walkers. And he normally doesn't even do trade-ins, but he was willing to do it for me because he said, once you get on a walker, you'll be back for another, which he was right. I ended up going back and buying the B. And I've bought a lot of stuff from him since then. But my whole thing with it is people asking me what's a great mower for starting off, something that's dependable, something that's going to cut great, and this is it. This is my recommendation. I know there's a lot of other brands out there. I know there's a lot of other types of machines which I would recommend, but you know, this, I can't remember exactly what I paid for this machine. I don't think it was much. I think it was maybe $5,000, $6,000, but for a bottom of the line commercial mower, which I don't know, I've even heard people say they rate this as a homeowner's mower, but it had a fabricated deck instead of a stamped deck. It had a commercial Kohler engine on it. It came with the commercial warranty. So all around, to me, it was a commercial mower. But it was for starting off and only a handful of lawns. You want something that's quality, something that's going to get the job done, something that has the option of a bagging system, not a turbine, but a bagging system that, you know, as long as I wasn't going real fast over real thick, wet grass, or I wasn't trying to bag massive leaves at a time, this bagging system worked pretty well. So, you know, you just got to be smart and mindful with it. But this mower, I mean, you're going to see here, I've just taken clips from old videos I had, so that's why the camera quality isn't so great. I didn't even have GoPros then. I think I would have a cheap action cam I could find online for like $30 or $50 or something. But anyway, you'll see that I mowed even a lot of really big acreage properties with this thing. And like I said, it only had a 48-inch deck, but I loved it. It was back when I had employees. The guys that worked for me loved it. Everybody wanted to ride this mower. Even Ryan, which he only loves big, fast mowers with huge mowing decks on them. He was impressed with this thing. You know, I worked a couple times with him when I had this mower and some really thick grass in places. And I told him, I said, I'm going to cut it down and I'm going to disperse it with this machine, and he didn't think it would do it, and he was really impressed by how well it dispersed grass and how well it cleaned up. I mean, this mower just cut great, and it would just eat through some really thick stuff and just shell it right out, and then clean it up after that like it was no problem. So I mean, I was very, very impressed with this mower, and like I said, if I had another option when I traded this in on the walker, I'd have probably just kept it and bought the walker outright, but I really didn't have the funds at that time. I didn't have any other mower that I wanted to trade up for it, so it had to be this machine. So I highly recommend this mower to anybody that's going to start off or that only has a handful of lawns or doesn't have a lot of money and they're looking for something durable, something that's going to last, something that's going to cut great. Just do the job day in and day out, which this machine did. I never had anything break on this as far as I can remember. Just normal oil changes, spark plugs in it when it needed it, air filter when it needed it, and greasing the spindles and stuff and sharpening the blades. It's just basic everyday maintenance stuff, but I never had an issue. Like This grass here, I don't know how well you can tell, but it was really thick. It was, you know, early in the morning, the sun's just coming up, it was damp out. I think this was just the beginning of fall. You can see some leaves on the ground, but it was just thick grass, and it just ate it up. And I didn't run anything special on it, just the stock blades that ran on this deck, and it just ate stuff up. You'll see some leaves that got blown off to the side there, but what we end up doing on this property is blowing it back out and going over it again, and it mulched it right up. But you know, this mower just performed every day, day in and day out. It did a wonderful job, and like I said, the cut was great. And you guys know I'm not a huge fan of Scag's new decks, but this was their older style deck, and I've mentioned that many times in videos that I wish a lot of these manufacturers wouldn't have changed their decks up, because a lot of them cut great, and then if you had a double cut, they would clean up great. So you're going to see me cutting this one here, and the reason I threw these in, this clip and the next clip, and then the one after that actually, is with the accelerator on it. And I've mentioned many times in my videos that I've been running the accelerator 6.2 jumbo baggers for years on many different mowers, and I'm pretty sure that this was the first mower I'd ever bought it for. I know I had it for my first Great Dane, the 48-inch Great Dane I had, but I can't remember if I had that Great Dane before this mower or after. I don't remember. I want to say it was before this mower, so this may have been the second machine I had it on. But you know, if that's your only option is to have an accelerator, then I mean, that's the way to go. I bought this machine here, and then I think it was the next year before I bought the bagging system that actually comes for this mower. But like I said, it didn't have the turbine on the side. You couldn't get it for this deck, so I ended up buying the accelerator the first year I had it out. But you know, here it is here, and that accelerator just works great. I've never put the accelerator on any machine I've ever owned, and it hasn't performed phenomenal. It's just that the problem with side grass catchers, they fill up too quick, and that's my main thing with them. But this thing just did a great job, even with bagging afterwards. I'd cut it down once and blow the grass out, then raise the deck up one notch and throw the bagger on and go over it again. And that's the best way to do it if you have a grass catcher or any bagging system, really. So you're just taking off what's laying on top. You're not, you know, taking every little tiny piece of grass off. So you still get some of that grass down in to decompose, and which will naturally fertilize the lawn. But it's the best way to bag, as far as I found over the years. Like I said, whether I'm running the Walker or whether I'm running the Tiger Cat when I had it with the bagging system with the blower, or running an accelerator grass catcher, I do it the same way. I usually cut it once first, and then raise the deck up one notch and go over it again to bag up what's left. But it just it did a great job. And you can see here doing some leaves, not too many leaves on this property, but as you saw on that last lawn and now again on this one, it just does a phenomenal job. But that's my recommendation for you guys. That's the best I can recommend for new guys starting out, or guys that just do it part-time. You can't go wrong with this mower. So you guys don't have to do it our way. You don't have to follow what we do. This is just what we do and how we do it, and this is my recommendation for you for that situation.